Good morning and welcome to my live stream. This is Bob Pace. I'm your host, and we're here to fight CPS. We're fighting CPS with Bob Pace. That's the name of the live stream in the morning. I do another live stream at night, and it says fight CPS and stop taking our children. These two live streams are on twice a day. I've been doing this since October 2023. That's 20 months and 14 times a week, just every day. One in the morning, one at night. I come in on the weekends at 8 a.m. and then during the weekdays it's 10 a.m. Then every night at 7 p.m. I'm on. And that's all the times of Pacific Standard Time. And I'm here to help you all with your CPS matter. A lot of you are struggling because you can't afford an attorney. And I'm in a similar boat than you guys were. We all have something in common. There's over 2,000 people I'm talking to from around the world. Not only in the United States, every state, but in a total of 23 countries, including the U.S. Now, these other countries are Indonesia, Bangladesh, India, then up to the Middle East, it's Saudi Arabia and Libya. Then over to Africa, it's Liberia, Sudan, Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Mozambique, and South Africa. Then up to Europe, it's United Kingdom, Denmark, and Sweden. Then across the pond, it's North America, it's Canada, and the United States. All 50 states have talked here on this live stream, including Washington, D.C. Then south the border, Mexico. Then in South America, north of Brazil, on the East Coast is Grenada. And then over in the South Pacific, we have New Zealand and the land down under Australia. So everybody that comes in here has an issue with CPS. Now, hello there, the woman in gold, the good sheep. Hi, I'm in needed help. I wasn't able to get on last night. Well, you can get on this morning. And real quickly, I will tell you the certain ways to interact in this live stream. One is to, okay. To text a message, all you have to do is to make a question or a comment about CPS. Please state your first name, your city or your county, your state, and also the country if you're outside the United States. Also, please tell me about your CPS case from the beginning to where you're at now, and I will try to help you out there. Now, besides texting me a message, you can also be a guest. Be a guest. All you would do is contact my show producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com. You'd email her with the time and the date you want to be on the show. So all you do is you pick, I want to be on Bob's Sunday morning show, or Bob's Friday night show, or Bob's Wednesday day show. So it's either morning or night, and it's one of the 7 days of the week. That's all you have to do. She'll send you a link. You copy the link and you paste it in your browser, and you're on StreamYard, which is the application we use. It uses YouTube to broadcast, but our room is on StreamYard. And that's all there is to it. There's some rules you have to be careful about, like there's no profanity, there's no eating or smoking on the show, and we do not use the first names of children. We don't use the names of children, judges, or social workers. And we don't, um, I think that's about it. There may be some other things she'll tell you, but that's all that has to be said about that. So she'll help you with your cam, your audio, and your video, and how to get the best you can out of the live stream. Now, the live stream, when we do as a guest, I can have as many as 9 of you, total of 9 people, including myself as 10. So I look forward to having you there. I look forward to having you there. Now, this is the important one that's coming up now is my phone number. There's my phone number. It's 626-698-0990. So you can call in right now and you can speak to the live stream. So there's my number, 626-698-0990. And you reach my phone. That's my office number. So the woman in gold, if you could contact me now, that'd be great. I'd love to hear from you. Hello, Kathy Fisher. Kathy's from Chicago, Illinois. Welcome, Kathy. I think you've been here before. The woman in gold. Um, I'm from Michigan County in Pennsylvania. And the police, the police have broken into my home. Wow, that sounds terrible. It really has gotten really bad there in Pennsylvania. Broken in my house and abducted my kids without a warrant. I have video footage. They said they don't need a warrant. Well, if your children are in danger, they can break in. If there's fighting going on or yelling or screaming, and it sounds like children are involved and they're in danger, they can break in. That's true. They don't need a warrant. It depends on your situation. Now, if you guys are very quiet in the house, you heard the knock at the door and didn't say anything, then they won't break in. It's only if there's danger to the children. So if the children are in danger, that may why they broke in. I don't know all the details. You got to tell me, starting off from the beginning, what it was about. Okay? Because I like to help you out there. I like to help you out there. So anyway, my phone number's up there for you to call in, Woman in Gold. They had an order on a phone. Well, that's not illegal documentation. It is hard when you're dealing with police and CPS. The child protection system is what I call CPS, and they use the police as intimidation. Technically, the police are only supposed to protect the social worker. They're not supposed to enforce CPS's rules. Um, CPS is doing an investigation because they received a complaint from somebody, either a professional mandated reporter or a layperson. Now, mandated reporters are like your teachers, your doctors and nurses. When they see a child that has bruises or things like that in school, when they don't look like they're happy or something going on, they are trained to recognize what abuse or neglect is, and they will intervene. They'll make a call to the child protection system. The problem is, most of the time, well, of the 4,200,000 calls in, that's a lot, by the way. 4,200,000. Half of them were no good, meaning that there was nothing they could follow up on. That means 2 million calls were made that weren't true. Now, 75% of the calls are for neglect and 25% are for abuse. And, you know, almost every Indian child will have a dealing with CPS before they're 18. And 50% black children will also be the same way. It's like they pick on these terrible ethnic groups, the Native American Indian children and the black children. And it's really, really sad because the things are, they're allegations and not necessarily so true. But some of these child protection systems are going bad. Now, every count will have a federal entity. In 62, Congress mandated that social service protect our children from neglect and abuse by using a group of social workers. But the problem is we have so many different names, it gets very confusing. So I just say CPS. Now, in some cases, that means the Child Protection Service, but I call it the Child Protection System. But there's Department of Children and Family Services, there's Department of Children's Service, there's the Cabinet. It goes on with the different names. So everybody knows what CPS is. So that's what I use there. Well, you still can't get through. Let me see my phone. My phone is on. Hold on. Let me see if you called here. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see. I'm calling you the moment of gold. Hello, this is Bob Pace. I'm with the live stream on Vincent W. Davis. Did you just try to call me Woman in Gold? Okay, what would be a good name to call you besides the Woman in Gold, the Good Sheep? Do you have like a Jasmine? Okay, it's a pleasure to meet you, Jasmine. And I'm so sorry you couldn't get through on the first ring. Yes. Now, I think you've been on before, have you not? Okay. And and you're from, you see here. Yeah, you're in Allegheny County in Pennsylvania. Now, are you the one that said that they broke in with no warrant? How did they first with a phone restraining order? Oh, jeez. I've never heard of that before. What was the right? Yes. Now, how many police showed up? How many police showed up? Okay, you need to ask them why they need four police officers to come to your home. Was there what was the allegation? Neglect or abuse?
there. Because I do have a doctor who actually treated me, and that's not the case. But they were doing their investigation where I don't have anything to do with them because I operate differently as a national under 8 USC 110122B. So this is a private matter. If you feel like you have anything, you need to get an Article 3 judge warrant, and then you can come do your investigation, get medical records, or whatever it is you think that you need. So being that they weren't able to get in contact with us, they then sent a letter to my house in May saying that your family has been accepted for services. If you feel like this is an error, you can write to the deputy director and explain why you're not at risk. So there's no abuse, there's no neglect. You're saying that I'm at risk and you're trying to force yourself, which is joinder, force me into a contract with you that I don't want to contract with you in. And you have not been able to see me, talk to me, know if I still live at that address or not. And you're sending me saying my family has been accepted for services. It's joinder. When they still couldn't get in touch with me, they then petitioned the court. I have the original petition. Their basic things in there were the drinking, my entire pregnancy. They slandered me, calling me a sovereign citizen because I law, that's what I operate in. And they said that the kids were out of compliance medically. Our religion, we don't believe in, modern medicine. None of my two youngest kids, they don't have any vaccines or anything like that. And I have 5 offspring. So then they said that they were checking to see if the kids were truant from school, but they were trying to figure out if that was the case. They were still waiting to hear from the school. So clearly the school did not give you that report. So that argument or that point is null and void because the school would have done their duty as they are mandated reporters to tell you if my kids were, truant or whatever it may be.
What are the ages of the kids? Excuse me, Jasmine, what are the ages of the kids? Okay, at the time of the investigation, how old were they? Okay, and then so you had 4 children that they were saying that 5, and you're pregnant on top of that, right?
So they in their original petition.
Okay. Now, were they contacting you? Were they contacting you by knocking on the door, or sending you a letter, or making a phone call?
Any basis, any allegations where you would force me to be in a contract with you. There's no danger because your major concern was quote unquote I was drinking my entire pregnancy, but my daughter is not being monitored for fetal alcohol syndrome. So you don't have any lawful basis to say you were getting involved in my family for their safety or supposed risk or whatever. You can't get involved for supposed risk. There's plenty of case law.
So when you had the first knock on the door, what was going on with your family at the first knock? Do you guys be quiet, or what happened? And then they would leave, right? Then they would leave, right? Um, have you had any experience before that first time with CPS? Were you once a foster child yourself? Okay, so you had experience, so they had a record on you. What about the very first time? How old were the children at the very, very first time? And what happened during the investigation? Did you ever get okay? Did you ever get a dismissal? Understood, but here's the problem, and this is the problem that a lot of people have. When you have your first investigation with them, or you once were a foster child yourself, you've grown up as an adult having children, they will keep records on you. And sure enough, if there's another complaint, they'll come back to that investigation. Now, if it found out they couldn't prove anything, then you, as a parent, have to ask a dismissal, a letter stating that your case was found dismissed on no allegations. You need that. And because you didn't have that, that's why they're still haunting you. And they're trying to take it and elevate it because they know that you want to fight the system. Now, I guess the question would be is that did you have legal insurance or hire an attorney? Okay. So you're doing pro se. So are you right? Okay. I just say pro se. I'm sorry, I don't have the lingo. I'm not an attorney. No,
They emergency. So my husband is Jamaican, so we go back and forth to Jamaica. And my 9-year-old has the triggers and asthma coming through the different climates. So when we did come back last year in October, and I took her back so she would go back to school, she had an asthma attack in Baltimore at a layover. So the paramedics came, they treated her, refused hospital treatment because she didn't need to go to the hospital. So I had to speak with a doctor before they would leave. They said that that's their policy. That's what I had to do. We done that. They left. This was October 11th. So here they kidnapped my daughter from school November 6th, saying that they, in the paperwork, because I'm my attorney, so I get all the orders, they did another petition with language that the police can break into my house on this order, which is not a warrant, it's an order, because they got a report November 1st that my daughter had an asthma attack. I was nowhere to be found, which I never knew that a minor can travel internationally by themselves. I was very dismissive. I refused to speak with medical personnel, even though I had to speak with a medical doctor before the paramedics would leave. There was no follow-up reports. We had to sleep in the airport. There were no emergency personnel, CPS, police that came to the airport, got calls or whatever on that. So if it was a true emergency, why did that not occur? And why did whoever made the quote unquote report wait 3 weeks? That emergency is not an emergency. So they use that because I'm not cooperating with them or participating with them or whatever you want to call it to fake an emergency. And this is where they're getting orders to take my kids into custody, into protective custody. And like I said, my daughter was the only one over there at the time, so they kidnapped her from school, November 6th. I had brought my 2 twins, my sons, my oldest sons, back, I think like November 15th or something. And by the 18th, that's when the police broke in my house because every like 3 days they would renew this emergency order to take my kids into custody. I guess that's how long they last for. So clearly there's no emergency weeks after the case, and not even with those two children, or they're not children, those two offspring. But you're continuously having these orders to take my kids into custody and for police to break into my house with no exigency. And that's when they came 3 days later looking for my sons, because those are the only ones who I brought back, which means that they were tracking our flights, and come with this order with 4 police officers on a phone screen that is not even sealed under, I can't remember what it is, 26 USC 1796 or something like that. There's no seal, and it's an order on a phone screen. It's not a warrant. So you violated the Fourth Amendment 2 different times: unlawful search, unlawful seizure, breaking and entering without a warrant.
But the thing is, are you going to use an attorney, or you just refuse to use an attorney? What is your rationale for not using an attorney?
Don't need, information. They just speak. I know the Constitution. I know the law.
But see, you can't. But you're not been successful because, first of all, where are the children? Did he take the children? Have you thought about reaching out to make it go public, meaning that you can use the news media? Have you thought about?
To the United States DOJ, everything you can take, no investigation. Claim, and the district court, the Western District Court of Pennsylvania, they have to use for information of what basically means they can't get it in the state case because they can cure the deficiencies and the violations to my constitutional rights, but that's not a actual form because they're ignoring me. Even up to the CPS caseworker supervisor, when I told him that my daughter was being forced to eat pork, which we do not, and it's against our religion,
Right.
it's not an emergency, and he's not worried about my case, my federal case at all, which I wouldn't blame them because all they're going to do is shield them. I've went to the 3rd District Court. They've upheld that. They're dragging their feet. They have not filed some of my filings. So I've got FCTA claims out on them as well. And as of last week, I have done my Supreme Court case. So that's now pending, and I have been trying to get the word out with a website for individuals to get involved, petition Congress for a redress, because these are gross constitutional violations. And the fact that there's no media on it, nobody wants to touch it. I've even reached out to, I believe it's the UCLA or the Civil Liberties Union or whatever. They wouldn't help me either. So
How about Doge? Have you talked about Doge? It's something new. It was created in January by the new president, and it's called the Department of Government Efficiency. They have a website. It's at doge.gov. And it gives a lot of information about what they're doing. What they're doing right now is they're investigating federal government departments. One of them is social services, and social services is the one that handles the child protection system, CPS. And they're trying to make sure that the government entities are running efficiently. They're not paying money to people that are dead, not abusing their powers like CPS does. But they also have phone numbers, and the phone numbers are to the White House. There are two of them. One is area code 202, which is the White House. And they have two numbers, and they will take a phone call. They also have an email that you can write them and register your complaint. I'm telling more people to do that, the more they will investigate further. It's doge at mail.house.gov. It's on my screen right now. It's doge. Yeah, I put it up on the screen for you. And that website, by the way, when you look at it, you'll find all kinds of information. In fact, if you're looking for a job, they offer you a job, a career job, not an hourly job, but a career job. And they're supposed to save trillions of dollars. They're up to the billion mark, but they haven't got to trillion yet.
You know, forced into this efficiency place now that I know about it. I'll update it to get the word out, to have more people, because it's not only me, but I'm the one fighting right now.
Right, right.
And I see.
You don't have visitations with your daughter? You don't have visitations? Okay, all right. Okay. Um, and what is their justification for doing that?
Used to your dad. He didn't care that he was. They're using my daughter as a weapon in their game. So that's why I've been getting word, because she she's been abused in their system, because they refused to put her with family, and it's moving her around from foster care to foster care to foster care, so that I can't see her, I can't talk to her, I don't know where she is, and they're not even giving me notice, which is unlawful. They have to notify me.
Um, one of the hardest things going to be is trying to fight it on your own. I I know you have your strong beliefs in what you can do as a person. Now, you say you're from Jamaica. Did you become a U.S. citizen, or what's your status in the United States? Oh, oh, okay, right, okay. Well, right, you're American. Anybody born in the United States is considered American. Recognize that, right? Well, why you're not a citizen? If you're American, why you're not a citizen?
things like that. So not that.
Well, how are you going to get around that? How are you going to get around that? Well, you will have to know certain things, but I can tell you right now, once you're born here, you're entitled to all rights as a U.S. citizen. Well, they do, because if they want to get help and you want an ambulance coming to get you, they'll send out an ambulance. If they want to go to the library, well, you have to, because if you're not a citizen, they're not going to help you. Well, right. Yeah, but is this gonna solve your problem about your child? That's what I'm trying to say. Don't you want your child back? But if you fight them, they're gonna fight back and they have more money and more power than you do. Right now they're being investigated, but they have trillions of dollars to fight you. And they have all kinds of ins and outs with the government. They're corrupt. They're corrupt. But then how are you going to fight them? Is what I'm saying. You've one person and you're talking, yeah. So what is you're going to gain except you're not going to see your daughter? Is what's happening. Okay. Yeah.
I like the Supreme the, the is egregious. Even one of the district judges in the order where he says younger abstention doesn't apply, despite my daughter being sexually abused in foster care and my son being physically abused in foster care. That does not constitute to an emergency that he can quote unquote get involved. So they're weaponizing this one case and using it as a shield so they don't have to get involved and enforce the law like they were created to do. So it's egregious. And it can be any one of us. Anyone who has kids, it can be any one of us. As many people are on here across the entire country. That's my thing. Getting the know-how, getting the information out so people can share it, so people can ask questions, so we can get media attention on it, so that things can change. Because the answer is not to fall in line, fight as a citizen, and get no. We have rights. We have rights. I have rights. My daughter has rights. And they've been violated at every turn by this wicked, corrupt system and this organization that nobody wants to touch with a 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole. And it's ridiculous that my daughter's been separating me from 7 months without her family. Nobody is asking any questions. Nobody is holding this organization accountable.
Well, and how long has this fight been going on? Now, do you want to continue this fight and have your daughter? Okay. But I don't know how you're going to fight without an attorney representing you. I just don't know um, because I don't know. I'm trying to sit here to say how I can help you, and I'm trying to figure out a way to help you.
Deal with the state court, and then after.
Hold on one moment. Hold on one moment, please. Hello, this is the live stream with Bob Pace. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to? Okay, I'm talking to a Jasmine in Pennsylvania. I need to finish that call first. You're not listening to my show, Megan? Okay, I understand. I'll be with you, but let me take this other call, okay? Thank you. Yeah, I will. I will. I will. I will. Thank you. I'm sorry to put you on hold, Jasmine. I had I had two people, Megan Wilson and Christina Reynoso, call. They're working on a similar case. I have a lot of people in this room that help one another. Now, Megan Wilson is from Delaware, and she has a horrible case where they have kidnapped her child, and because she was involved in as a foster care, they've followed her and are keeping her from seeing her child. Now, Christina Reynoso is from Las Vegas, Nevada, and she also has a bad case and she's trying to help out. What's happening now is a lot of people in this room are helping one another. That's why I want very much to help you. I really feel, that you're very sincere and you're talking about something. I don't have too many people that want to fight themselves. They either can't afford an attorney or they want to get an attorney to fight him because fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. Now, if you can imagine open heart surgery, if you don't have a medical doctor that cuts open your cavity and takes out your heart to work on, you run the risk of killing yourself. Now, I'm not trying to say that a person operating on themselves or a plumber can do the job or not do the job. It's just that what's happened is that CPS is like open heart surgery. They are so powerful, they have so much money that they're going to keep your children and they're going to abuse your children and abuse you as a parent. They don't believe in family reunification. All they believe in is the dollar, the mighty, mighty dollar. All they look at it is money for them. Now, not all CPS are bad, but the one you're dealing with has really gone bad towards the money. And I just don't know how to, your definition of what a U.S. citizen and what a national is something that no one's ever approached me before. So, right. Okay. Yeah.
CPS is ridiculous. This is the same as different these are different people going through a similar thing in different states. This is ridiculous and it has to stop and it's not gonna stop if we keep hiding behind lawyers and we don't fight where the fight needs to be because we need a redress from Congress so that this constitution cannot continuously be violated and we're doing an uphill battle doing 1983 cases and that this shouldn't be in the first place.
Well, I tried to fight CPS myself. I found out the only way that I could get my children back was to hire an attorney, and I had to sell my forever home, and that was a hard thing to swallow. And so it is really there because I didn't have the time or the money because I was out there looking for work to fight on the basis of a national and a citizen. Now, I looked up the definition of a national versus a citizen. It says the main difference between a national citizen is that the national relates to the place you're born, and the citizen relates to the title given to you by the government of the state after you fulfill the legal formalities. In the United States, citizens are those who obtained a citizenship through birth, acquisition, derivation, or naturalization. The term citizen relates to the title given by the government of the state to you after you fulfill the required legal formalities. You can become a citizen through marriage, inheritance, birth, registration, naturalization. Thus, a citizenship can be viewed as a political status in many aspects because it represents which country acknowledges you as a citizen. Citizenship can change as you can be a citizen of numerous countries at the same time, as well as be able to give up citizenship to a country. The main difference is the citizen is the political status which recognizes the individual system citizenship of the country. National is the status a person acquires by being born. All right. A citizen is legal or jurisdiction concept, while national is ethnic or racial concept. A citizen is a person who's been registered in the laws made by the government of the country, while the term national indicates his or place of birth. An individual can become a citizen of a country through various ways by birth, marriage, inheritance, naturalization, and registration. On contrary, an individual can be the national of a country by inheritance or birth. The citizenship of a person can be changed, while nationality cannot be changed. So, what do you consider yourself as? Okay. So, in a CPS, right. So, in a CPS matter, what does CPS look at citizenship versus national? Where do they look at the difference?
You keep reading the legal requirement when you fulfill the legal requirement. Well, your birth certificate you into being a citizen, but you still have your nationality as well, and you can operate under either or. And I don't want to operate under the citizenship. I don't have that. They can have that entity that they've created for me. I operate under the Constitution, under nationality, and I have not sworn any oath. I have not studied their book. I have not been sworn in as a citizen. And I don't operate underneath the 14th Amendment as, a citizen under theirs.
Okay.
I am a national,
All right.
an American.
Okay.
I believe in the Constitution. Every
Right. I just don't know the way that CPS is structured, the way that Congress is structured, how you're going to fit in to the system because you can't change anything overnight. Well, well, the problem is that they do recognize harm. You see, the way it's structured is that anytime a mandated reporter or a lay person makes a claim, automatically CPS thinks you're guilty. It's the only law that you're guilty before you're proven innocent. Every other court of law, you're innocent till you're proven guilty. But in CPS matters, they label you as guilty when they hear a mandated reporter report an allegation or a layperson report an allegation. And that being the case, they think you're guilty. And they don't care about your constitutional rights or your civil rights. That's why you can sue them. And there have been lots of cases won by my attorney, Vincent Davis, by suing CPS. But I, you know, in order to sue them, you have to have your case closed. And in order for me to close my case and get my children back, I had to hire an attorney because I was not qualified as an attorney. And even though I'm very brilliant in the mind, um, I just know that sometimes it's best to go with the flow because my children are more important to me than my constitutional rights or my civil rights. My children and my family are. And, you know, it wasn't until Mr. Davis started to fight them that I was able to get my family back together. But even what happened there is because I picked the wrong attorney, meaning I picked an attorney that's a pit bull that knows how to fight CPS and does win CPS cases. The social worker retaliated. Now, what the social worker did is that she committed perjury on oath, and Mr. Davis had asked her a really simple question because there's a point when one of my children was going to be adopted by my wife's sister and husband. And the question was presented to her or to my potential people that wanted to adopt my children. Are they good parents? Have they ever had trouble with CPS? Did they ever have domestic violence? And the social worker lied. She had said an oath that she checked them out. They had no domestic violence and that they're good parents for our child. The problem being is that my attorney did his homework. He pulled open a folder and he found police reports, about 30 of them, showing domestic violence with these people. Not only was they arguing, they were hitting each other. So it's physical domestic violence. And he read report after report. And the social worker was horrified. She left the courtroom and she told us parents, you're never going to see your daughter. And what she did is that she did revenge. This is the Orange County Child Protection Services in Orange County, California. What she did is she told our 12-year-old daughter that you're going to emancipate from your parents. That means you're going to divorce your family. You're going to divorce your mother, your father, your siblings, your grandparents, your uncles and aunts and cousins. Divorce them all. And then you're going to change your name. And she completely changed her name. She removed her middle name, which was called Honolulu, which is a beautiful place in Kauai. So she eliminated that name. She eliminated her birth name and even her first name. Then she went and sealed her birth certificate and got a new birth certificate with her adopted um, people as her parents. She also got a second social security card and started double dipping on my retirement. She started taking money that I had earned and put aside to be given to me in my retirement. And she was double dipping that. And then further, she was adopted by these people that supposedly give her better things. So I'm telling you, CPS in Orange County is very corrupt, very, very bad. And the social workers lie. So it was one of those things that, it's not going to help me right now because my daughter now is 22 years old and she wants nothing to do with her family. In fact, all my children now, they have three older children, great family, but because of their involvement in CPS, they no longer talk to us. And my younger children, I have my two boys with me, but I did lose my daughter. I did lose my daughter. And it's a hard thing to do so. It really is. It's a hard thing to do so. Now, do I regret what happened? Well, that's what you take chances when you use a very aggressive attorney. He will get your kids back. But I don't know if having my boys back was beneficial when I lost one of them. And by the way, my allegations were false. They were trumped up, and they're very vindictive people, the CPS people are. And they were so vindictive that they tried to get the police to intimidate you. The problem with police, the police are dumb. And I don't mean to say all police are dumb, but the police, in my case, and they overstep their bounds. They enforce rules that CPS should never put out. Um, they do that. And they don't have any qualms because they think they're authoritarian. I mean, I have bad feelings about the police right now. Now, I know recently we just had four people shot at 2 o'clock in the morning in Minnesota, and it was by a person that was pretending to be a policeman. And it's sad. And they opened the door in Minnesota. And one was a senator and her husband, and they died from the wounds. The next couple was another senator and his wife, and they are in critical condition in the hospital. That's the most recent case of why I tell people never open the door. Never open the door because you don't know who's there or what they'll do. I have a black airman in the United States Air Force in Gainesville, Florida, that was young. He was in his 20s. He was shot 5 times close range when he opened the door to a Gainesville sheriff who killed him instantly. Well, not instantly, but he died on the phone to his fiancee on FaceTime. And it was really hard. It was really, really hard. There was also a black woman that was arguing with a policeman, and the black woman was shot in the face 5 times and killed right there on the spot. I could go on with instances of why you should never open the door. The door is your castle. You have your drawbridge up, and no one can come into your home. Now, if there is a warrant they can issue, you first have to see it. And to see it, you got to be outside your home. And an easy way to diffuse that is tell them, I will entertain talking to you with this warrant, but I need if this is a legal matter, I need my lawyer present, so I have to get back to you. What you're doing is you're stalling time. You're making time to get your lawyer there so you can talk to them about what they want to do to you. But you never want to really talk to policemen or social workers. You don't want to let them in your home, and you don't let them take your child. You can be strong about that. Now, what you've done is a different approach now. You're trying to use something called national versus citizenship and the definition of that. And that's something that a lot of people don't recognize. Now, I don't know if that's going to resolve getting your children back because they can wait forever. They got your child, and you can sit there and do the biggest case you want, but you're not going to get your children. You're not going to win. You're not going to win. You can contact Doge and have that entity investigated. I know for experience that Doge is investigating social services because I had a dealing with social services. I was talking to the lady that was the intake of some information I was divulging for her, and she said, I want you to be aware I have a supervisor from Doge on the phone with me. This lady spoke perfect English. She was very clear, very concise, and very compassionate. Something I never experienced with dealing with social services in the last 20 years or 15 years. I've never seen social services act this way. But, Doge is real. Doge is being investigated. And so um, you need to be careful about that. But anyway, that's my dealings. And right now, my show ends at 9 o'clock, and I've gone too much time on my show. Um, I'm not going to say you can't continue talking because you can, but it's going to have to be in my next show. I have a 7 o'clock show this evening. You could talk if you like to. Jasmine, right? It's Jasmine, right? Right. You can talk to me, Jasmine, from Pennsylvania tonight at 7 p.m. my time, which will be 10 p.m. your time. Or you can talk on Monday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. So you can talk again and we can talk further about your case. But I want to know that you've ever thought about trying to do some of the things that you're doing there. Um, I'm sorry, Christina Reynosa. I have some people in my room that wanted to talk. Christina Reynosa and Megan Wilson. I don't have time to talk to them. They have to talk tonight. Christina Reynosa and Megan Wilson. Megan Wilson is from Delaware, and Christina Reynosa is from Nevada. Could you guys contact my show producer, Grace, and ask to be a guest on my live stream? And both of you could talk along with me. I would love that. So, Megan Wilson and Christina Reynoso, it would be very good to talk to you guys later tonight as a guest so that both of you can talk. Now, I have another Facebook account, Megan Ray Wilson. Megan Wilson and Megan Ray are the same person, and I understand that is there. But anyway, I've been talking to Jasmine about a new approach in her battle with CPS. She is declaring herself a national and not a citizen. And she's fighting it pro se. Well, she used a different terminology of pro se, but she's fighting them herself. And I guess she thinks she can get her child back that way, but they still got her baby for the last 7 months and she had no visitation. So you have to be careful of who you're fighting out there. And so, Megan and Christina, please schedule yourself as a guest on tonight or our Monday morning live stream. But I do want to talk to both of you. And Jasmine, I'd love to have you talk again. Thank you, Jasmine from Pennsylvania, about sharing your story. Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm trying to find it because somehow I don't see it. I see where the woman in color, excuse me, yeah, the woman in gold. I see your messages there, but I don't see any link listed there. Um, I think you have to post it again because all I have is Megan and Christina. That's all I have. Also, I know you're an active mother and you're trying to take care of your kids. It'd be nice the next time you talk that we don't have a lot of the background noises because it's very hard to understand or hear when you have the background noises. But I know that you're a mother and your mother comes first. So um, I'm not at all saying you're a bad mother. It's just that you got yourself quite a battle to do this battle as a national person of the United States. And so I've looked at that and I'll study it further on my downtime. I'm waiting for still your comment coming in. I still don't see it. Okay. Why is it not coming in? Megan Ray Wilson, last comment was 9:32. And 9:31 and 9:27 was by Christina Reynoso. Anyway, I don't know why the woman in gold is not coming through here. You said, please, Megan needs the YouTube link. Text it to her, please. I don't know on the YouTube link what you're talking about, Christina. I'm on SteamYard.com, and it's /WSFM32YMWP. And what's so sad is that when I try to copy that link, it doesn't give me an option to copy that. I wonder why. Here it is. Okay, this is the link that I'm on. It's going to go to all 9 rooms. So it's going to repeat 9 times. How did you get on the show, Jasmine?
The link that you posted.
Oh, I posted the link, and that's how you got on. Okay. I don't see the links. Yeah, but yeah, it's not somehow going. But anyway, went into private chat. Really weird. Oh, there's the link. I see the link now. That's the link that I'm on right now. But I don't see your link. I don't see your link at all. No, I don't know why. I don't know why I'm not seeing your link. I just see the link earlier at 8:34. 8:38. You had 2 messages there. You've had total 1, 2, 3, 4 messages.
They didn't actually but it's closed.
Yeah.
Together from Diane,
Okay.
things that they're, like I said, sweeping behind the rug because it's only me because I'm arguing the same things. As I've been able to listen to some attorney Vince's things, and I've argued the same things in my cases.
Right.
But because it's only me, they're just sweeping it under the rug, ignoring them or whatever, which is unlawful.
Yeah.
Because I have a right to represent myself.
There's one other person that I've not addressed that came to my room here called Brittany McCarrick. And she says, hello, Bob. Sorry it has been busy, but still dealing with them horrible people. She's talking about the CPS. I had a question with you that you that dealt with the Orange County CPS, which is the same county that I was involved in. So now they've transferred me out of Orange County, and I have went to probably 3 court hearings since the transfer, but I've yet to see the judge or even going to the courtroom they come out of. Where did you get transferred from Orange County? Where did you get transferred, and why did they do that? I need to talk to you further, Britannia. I assume you're from California because you're talking about Orange County. There is an Orange County in Florida, so you got to be careful. I'm just going through all my notes here. So Britannia McCarrick, I'd like you again to come to my show tonight at 7. And I do want to, hopefully I'll have Megan and Christina Reynoso as a guest on my live stream tonight. That'd be great. That'd be great. Okay. Here's a message from Megan Wilson. So I know I'm still taking messages, but Jasmine's message is not coming in. Pennsylvania is a Commonwealth state. They are horrible. Yeah, I agree. They're really hard. And then the Britannia, McCormick, yeah. They transferred me to Orange County from Riverside because I'm living in Orange County and have had the last 3 years had Riverside had jumped jurisdiction and came to Orange County. I want to hear more about that, Brittany McCormick from California. So can you do that to me at 7 o'clock? I do have to go. I want to thank Jasmine for talking to me and sharing her thoughts and how she's fighting CPS or how she's trying to get her children back and so forth. It sounds like a long process, but I do respect people and respect their wishes. So thank you all, Brittany McCormick from California and Megan Wilson from Delaware, who used to live in Pennsylvania, by the way. And I want to thank Christina Reynoso from Nevada. And we already said Megan Wilson and Jasmine, of course, for just calling in on the phone there and fighting that case there. So I'm going to say goodbye, but that doesn't mean that I'll not see you again, because I'll be on again at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. And that being said, I will talk to you again. God bless you all. Keep fighting for your kids. There'll be a brief message from my attorney at the end of my live stream. This is Bob Pace signing off.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last one.